You are listening to an audio podcast created by the Minnesota Alliance for Geographic Education. Our mission is to help people understand their world better through geography. Some of the most basic uses of maps are to find where places are, locations. How far is it from our house to the grocery store, to the movie theater, to the school we attend? What turns do we have to make? We can look at a map and we can see other buildings, we can see where the streets are. But there are many maps that go beyond that. There are maps that allow us to compare one thing to another, or how one thing works in different places, the amounts and so forth. Dr. David Lanegren will explain that these are thematic maps and give us some information about a selected few thematic maps. This podcast addresses several Minnesota geography standards. Our expert geographer is Dr. David Lanegren, Director of the Minnesota Alliance for Geographic Education, and John S. Hall Professor of Geography at Macalester College in St. Paul, Minnesota.
There are lots of map types, and the most typical ones are reference maps that give you place information. Where is Chicago? Where is Santa Fe? Where is Kenny in Minnesota? Where is Timbuktu? So they're just giving you locational information. The next kind of maps are called thematic maps, and they give you data about various topics that geographers think are important, such as population density or rainfall or agricultural types, or a whole host of information. We have a tremendous amount of data available to cartographers now, from obesity to stolen cars to particulate pollution in the air. Just all kinds of information is available. So we look at these thematic maps, and thematic maps can be of several types. One is called the dot density map, where a dot will have a particular value, let's say 100,000 chickens, and you'll see dots that total up all the chickens in a particular area, and so the patterns of the dots become a density pattern. When you look at a pattern like that, there are some rules to follow. First, you look and see where is the density the greatest, where are most of the chickens living, and then where is the density the lowest, where are there the least number of chickens. So we look at the highs and the lows, and then you look to see what the gradients are. Where is the rate of density declining the fastest? Where is it declining the slowest? And then we look and see if there's any kind of patterns. Do these dots occur in lines? Do they occur in clusters? Are there some kind of geometric pattern? So we look at all that to try to understand the factors behind the distribution. So while we're looking at the map, we're always thinking of other kinds of patterns that might help us explain the distribution that we see. So the first one is the dot distribution. The second are called the area maps, and the most typical map of this sort used by geographers is called the choropleth. And the choropleth map gives you data per area. We frequently call this cooked data as opposed to raw data. So this is like the bushels of corn per acre, or the value of land per acre, or the number of people per square mile. These kinds of massaged data make up choropleth mapping. We also have topographic maps that are using lines, contour lines. Contour lines connect the points of equal elevation in a physical map of the surface of the earth, but they also can connect lines of equal barometric pressure, and any number of phenomena can be measured with line maps or contours as well. The term that's used by geographers for these maps is called an iso line, iso line, meaning line that connects equal points. Now, once you have looked at all these aspects of mapping, you can go to the next source and say, how was this data gathered? And how, so for example, if the data is by county in the United States, the counties vary greatly in size. So you get a little distortion put into the map when you see data that's gathered by county. It's almost like fishing. If you use a small net, you catch more fish than you do if you use a large net, that is a net with large mesh.
You have been listening to a production by the Minnesota Alliance for Geographic Education. Background music courtesy of Mr. Jim Hogue of Decorah, Iowa. The Alliance is a nonprofit group of educators and others interested in promoting an enhanced understanding of our world through improved geographic literacy.